a lot quicker. They didn't understand all of the reasons for that at the time, but we do now. And the reason is that there's a lot of natural antibiotics associated with that tree. And so the honey that comes from the small flowers on the tree has natural antibiotic properties. And so that is, Comvita uses that to impregnate dressings, and they're used for development of health solutions. Now, I understand I've just got told I'm time's up, but I was just told earlier that we've got a few extra minutes, so I'll just finish off very quickly. I'd like to just mention Fisher & Paykel Healthcare, who are here in India. They've got a lot of technologies around the use of humidified air for improving acute outcomes. And so they're a world leader in sleep apnea, for example, which we know relates from obesity and some of the other complications that result. They've also got a breathing product called Optiflow, which instead of putting a tube down the throat with dry air, they have a nasal option with humidified air, which stops mucus forming. And they're finding in India that it's producing very good outcomes for people with H1N1. So it's quite an interesting treatment. And they've also introduced this last December a very innovative use of humidified air in laparoscopic surgery. So traditionally, laparoscopic surgeons have used dry carbon dioxide to inflate the area being operated on, but it dries out the tissues and organs inside. So using humidified air keeps all of those moist, and so it gives a much better outcome after surgery than has been the case today. So, just to finish off, from its innovative social laboratory in the South Pacific, you can see that New Zealand has a system of developing the use of IT, telemedicine, remote delivery, including training and a range of other products and services, all for the improved patient outcomes and to drive the health dollar further. So we're finding that many of those technologies and experiences have strong applications in other health systems. Now, while I'm not claiming to be a medical expert, if there's any questions that anyone has that I can answer, I'm pleased to do so now. I will be around during the day and this evening, so I'm happy to talk to anybody that has any other questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gavin. Tron in the day. It's now my privilege to introduce the next speaker, Dr. Mishra. As you heard this morning, he is the e-health telemedicine person in India. And I think, and I'm looking forward to the presentation about developing e-health strategies for India and the needs at this time.
Thank you, Frank. We are already running out of time, so I quickly cover up this vast area. If I just want to finish in one line, I can finish in one line saying that without policy and strategy, nothing moves. That means to move, you need money. The money comes, budgeting comes from the government if there is policy and strategy. Every country has a plan budget system, like we have the planning commission, make budget plans. And our telemedicine also has some budget. So for that, at least we can do some telemedicine. So how important is policy and strategy is known to all of you. So I just have to cover up to say that what is happening around the world as far as the strategy and policy is concerned. You just heard from my previous speaker about the policy and strategy that New Zealand has developed. So it is very important for the audience and researchers who are practitioners who are involved in the telemedicine should know about some political issues, that the business of telemedicine is run only when the policy is there. So what I'll cover up a little bit is more important aspects that what is happening in India and what has been a context of the global happening in the strategy, and what the WHO and ITU they have jointly done recently, this is a recent phenomenon, to promote development of strategy and helping the nations to develop strategy using a toolkit. As you know, the e-health is an important tool. It has a potential to achieve the goal of health care for all. We have been listening to this slogan now for decades, but we have not been able to achieve. The technology has potential. The only thing is we have to adopt that technology to achieve this purpose. I do not explain you that what the benefit the e-health has brought into the system. All of you who have come here, naturally you are having some knowledge about telemedicine and e-health, and you must have been knowledgeable enough to know what is happening in e-health, the technology offers, how the cost is benefited, how system is benefited. So I need not elaborate further, but if you want to read more, there are references put at the bottom. You can go to those references and read in detail. The policy of e-health is concerned with the solutions that support capacity building and provide services that improve health outcomes. It is a set of statements like any other strategies, whether IT strategy, rural healthcare strategy, or whatever it is, e-governance and all those things. So they are all guided by a set of rules and guidelines and directives and laws and judicial issues involved in that. They also cover some of the socio-economic aspects because every country has their own milieu, and also the financial and cultural and the system that operates. So a strategy for one country may not be the same in the other country, though the generic aspects may be the same. Why do we need? As I just told you in the beginning of my lecture, nothing moves without a policy. But what has happened, especially in ICT for health in this area, the technology has gone far ahead, whereas the system is falling behind. It has not adopted the system. It is completely outspaced to our healthcare, the way we deliver our healthcare. Though the IT has kept a pace with the other areas like banking and governance and all these areas, but in the pace of health, it is lagging behind. We have many pilot projects all over the world. In India, we have been doing for the last 10 to 12 years. But why that this e-health and telemedicine has been part of the system? So there are many issues. I did not go to those issues. We can discuss off the record. Government expenditure and business rules are always dictated through policies. Industry always look for government strategy. You know, when the planning commission, where the budget is unveiled, how people are watching what is happening there, because the industry decide to invest in that area. Because most of the business comes from the government business. The barriers are addressed. There are many barriers for adoption of telemedicine and e-health. All those issues can be addressed. Interoperability, nationwide interoperability is not there in our country. We have many softwares in telemedicine. They don't speak to each other. We have many social issues. We have many cultural issues. We have illegal issues. Doctors refuse to participate in telemedicine because there is no law in the country. If they want to participate, they participate. If they don't want to participate, they participate. When they want to participate for the sake of getting fees, all the laws are out. But when they don't want to participate, then we quote so many other issues, relevant issues. We cannot deny that fact. So for that, there is need of national policy. And this national policy just cannot do the job in solo. You have to take the global context in the mind while developing national policies, because now no more health is the country specific. It's a globalized world. So medical tourism can only be promoted that. Many of you must have read this document, what WHO developed. There are 2 editions that they have done, the survey, the e-health survey, global e-health survey. So WHO circulated to all member countries, and all the member countries, many of them participated, many of them didn't participate, to give the feedback in a structured framework. So if you find there, when the study was done in 2010, and these are the blue areas and these shaded areas, they give indications that what countries they have developed strategy in that particular point of time, and who are now going to develop or in the process of developing. So if you go to this document, you can find in detail about the countries they have been active. You'll be surprised to know that Malaysia is a small country in Asia, They are the leaders in the e-health. Unfortunately, that leadership has never taken off since the 1997 when they formed the first Telemedicine Act. This is the first act that has been developed in the history of telemedicine in the world. But now in 2012, though they have advanced a lot in the field of health IT, but all those things that they recommended that time, they developed a law, those things have never been really taken up in that spirit. We have also experts from Malaysia, and if you want to interact with him and find out what is happening, please do so. But Malaysia is a leader in Asia to develop first the telehealth policy. They also developed another position paper in the 2000. So that means they're continuously involved in the research and develop national document. Later on, many other countries also has developed, and all the people we always refer who have been working now in the area of policy and research, we always refer the Malaysia document. This always acts as a reference material. We have well-defined e-health policy or clear policy activity in many countries now. And if you see there this picture, you will find so many countries now are involved, either in the process of developing or have developed or have adopted. So if you go to the document, you will find the exact status of what is happening. Rockefeller Foundation took initiative a couple of years ago, and they called many experts around the world. And we were there, many of us are there, and we have been put in a cell. It is just like a jail, you know, you can't get out of this place. So a lot of thinking went on, a lot of brainstorming went on, and many good documents have emanated from that. You can go to the document available in the resource, ehealth.dasconnect.org, you will find many of those issues have been covered. But what they really, in that group working on the health policy did is that it is very relevant for developing countries. That's what we all realized that time. Though it is for all, but developing countries are very, very important to